Hi, good afternoon, everyone. I am Abhishek Kumar, and I'm the DueDash city leader for Delhi. DueDash is a platform where we trying to help founders trying to build an ecosystem and try to help them to make them investable. So DueDash is a global platform. So today we started our new session, a new event with a new topic, right? Because out there in DueDash, we do a lot of events which actually help the founders, the investors, incubators, and accelerators. So today we have two guests talking about more about growth hacking, right? The topic of the event is the growth hack in new normal. As you guys know that like after the COVID, things have changed. So a lot of things has been, uh, I would say, shifted to the digital platforms like Zoom, digital platforms like AirMeet, and all those kind of things are going on. And in between, we founders have stuck with the growth itself, right? Because when you guys started your uh, like your company, your startup, you might be having certain ideas. Your strategies would be more centric towards the normal things, but in between, the COVID has came and we have shifted everything, on digital platforms itself. So we have two guests today. We have Mr. Aditya Arora. Aditya Arora is one of the angel investor and founder and CEO of FARD Network. He is also having a mission, to help startup founders in their seed and pre-seed funding, right? So, and he's also Padma Shri awardee. He's the youngest entrepreneur, spoken more than 150 events, has been invited as a speaker, and he's actually, fostering the startup culture from New Delhi itself. So welcome, Aditya.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Team DueDash and Abhishek, for the warm introduction. Uh, this is the new normal, and I look forward to sharing my views and interacting with all the attendees and addressing some of the key points, which I think are the way forward for us to succeed in the new normal. Thank you so much, Team DueDash and Abhishek, for having me. Thank you.
Right, that's great. We have another speaker out here in our panel today, Mr. Hami Hussain, another charismatic personality. I personally, joined his lot of sessions. I listen him every day, his talks, and he's also an author. He's in Melbourne as of now. He has written a book, Fire Your Boss, which is, I think, a best-selling book in Amazon, and I have also read it personally because my interest is towards, a startup ecosystem, helping founders, and all those kind of activities we do. So what we are trying to do out here with Hemi is like to listen him that how to grow your business in these awkward situation. Hemi, I welcome you on the board from the DueDash family. I welcome you. Uh, so my first question would be from Hemi sir itself, right? Hemi sir, my like as you know that things have changed, like,
Yeah.
and for a lot of people, those who are not aware about the digital things and about the platforms and the things are going on out here, what will be your message to those people? Because whenever we start a business, we have a business plan, right? First thing, we create a business plan, right?
Mm-hmm.
So in business plan, we take all the inputs, right? Inputs like what will be our marketing strategy, what will be our expansion plan, what will be our cash flow, and all those kind of stuff. So
Yep.
I would like to know, like, what will be your take, right? What are the changes have you seen? Because I know you are also an entrepreneur. You run a lot of webinars, and lastly, in your last webinar, I think you had near about say 938 attendees out there, which
Yeah.
was remarkable, right?
Yeah.
So I just wanted to know, like, from your side, that what you have done, what changes you have made, like, which is making your journey more delightful and more easy. Yeah.
Okay, so thank you, Abhishek. Thanks for inviting me, and thank you, Dheeraj, to inviting me as well. Uh, so I think, look, in our startup community, right, around the world, right, since I think people ask me this question all the time, hey, when did you born? Lots of people ask me, right, and I said February 2020, and everyone get confused. What do you mean? And I said, yeah, I'm actually because I think in India or Bangladesh, the country we came from, since February 2020, everything has massive change. Massive change. It's a completely brand new world. It's completely brand new economy, which we never expected, which we never even imagined that this can happen, right? This coronavirus came in, everything changed. In country like us, India or Bangladesh, we never thought that people can work from home. We never thought that we can order food all the time from home. We never thought that we cannot go out and hang with the friends or family members, all these. But that is the new normal at the moment, and we are now adapting with this new normal. And the economy was and everything, if you think about the startup business, entrepreneurship, have you ever thought that shopping complex can be like closed last 7, 8, 9 months? But it is closed actually. And the question is then what I'm gonna do? What I'm gonna do? And should I continue, or should I watch, or should I observe, or just quit the business? So meaning, what does it mean though? I think this is the time. We all need to be, as an entrepreneur or a startup, we need to adapt with this new economy, with the new world. So in terms of the startup perspective, right? Many startup, especially those countries, are tech-based startup, but there are so many startup actually not tech-based at all. Even the tech-based startup, yes, we understand that as a founder of a startup, right? Sometimes I don't understand that what is my role in there, because it doesn't matter how good is your startup, what do you do, it can be best technology, but on the other hand, somehow you are a marketing and salesperson somehow, because you got to present this to someone else, you got to present this to investor, you got to present this to consumer, you got to present this to normal people, right? So the thing is, when you used to present this before in front of the people on a stage, right, that skill and the presenting in online is completely two different things. Complete two different things. I found so many speakers around the world who used to like fantastic speaker on the stage, but when they come to online like this in the webinar or in Zoom session, they don't know what to do, and they get so confused. They don't. So people last 6 to 7 months, right? When you are in this sort of session, you need to be skilled, you need to be ready for this, you need to be ready for this, and you need to understand that this coronavirus, when it's gonna go, no one knows. No one knows. So you need to adapt with that, because you are constantly presenting maybe next 2 years in online. And also now it's become new normal. What does it mean? People are like the part of this habit now. They don't want to go outside anymore, because after 7 months you want to stay at home as much as possible. That means you need to learn this anyhow, regardless. However, when you are in online something like that, I think few things in right. One is what I found, that is your setup is important, because people sometimes don't remember you, they remember your setup. That's one thing I found. People remember your smile in online. You are smiling constantly, which I learned. I was not smiling before, trust me. Now I
Right.
know how to smile. So I learned that. I also learned about your voice, because when you are presenting something in this sort of scenario, you need to consider that as well, right? Also, your presentation skill, the pack you present. When you used to present in front of others on a, like say on a stage, and presenting in online is little bit different. So you need to little bit work on those sort of things. If you can do that, then you can engage your audience really well, because you are every day you are presenting either to get investment, or get customer, or get someone else in your business, or doing some collaboration. So I think that those are the things you need to consider as part of this journey. So I think, Abhishek, did I give you an answer?
Yeah, yeah, great, sir. Great insights. Now I will go to Aditya. Aditya, so you've been in the journey. I believe you started your journey when you were 15, right? I read your biography and the things and the achievements you have achieved, and I got really motivated because I, you know, I entrepreneurs always excites me. I, study a lot of entrepreneurs, and I really respect you. Like in the shorter period of time and at that young age, you have achieved and done something. So I would like to know, like, what are the things you have changed, and what are the changes you have observed pre-COVID and post-COVID, and what are the changes you have made into your business? Yeah.
Yeah, got it. Thank you so much, Abhishek, for being so sweet. So, as Remy was saying as well, a lot of people ask me when I was born, and I say I was born in 1997, but I took a rebirth in 2020. So that's of course what I say to all the questions, because it's a new normal, and the very fact that we say new normal is made up of two things, right? Something is new, which of course wasn't there before, and now this new has become the normal going ahead, right? So not only is it attacking your proposition from one end, it's by entering something new, it is also attacking a proposition from the other end, where it's saying it's going to be the normal, right? And that is where not just startups, but all human beings also face something as a challenge, right? When you're not doing something which we were doing before, and now you have to do that for the rest of god knows how, don't know how much time in your life, because COVID does not have an expiry date, right? It's not a medicine. We don't know when it will go away. If we would have known, we could have planned our finances, we could have planned our journey, we could have said, okay, I'm not able to do this thing right now, maybe I'll do it 2-3 months later once this ends. But we don't know the ending period, right? And that's where the pool of us uncertainty starts. So the things that we were doing before COVID and the things that we are doing after COVID has drastically changed because of one simple factor, that physical presence is now being replaced by screen time. That you had to be there earlier, present physically, in order to be able to execute that thing. But now you are doing all of that within just a click of a button, right? Or you're doing all of that by just seeing each other virtually, by just e-meeting ourselves. Let me give you a very small example, right? Traditionally, investments were done when investors and startups met over a coffee. They met about 6-7 times. They looked at the documents, they looked at the sheets. Sometimes the investors even visited the offices of the entrepreneurs, and they had a good chat. They had that coffee, right? That coffee was a representation of warmth and a born homie. But now millions and dollars are being pumped into the ecosystem without even meeting the founders once. Imagine yourself, you put $3 million in a startup, and you haven't met the founders even once, right? So this is a crazy enough situation, right? And this is how we are going ahead in this ecosystem. But there is one thing, right? COVID is a great leveler for everyone, which not a lot of people realize, right?
Mhm.
It is basically providing one common ground for everyone out there. It's a situation, a pandemic which everyone is facing. So within this leveler, it gives one thing, that it gives no room for excuse. Now all the startups or all the entrepreneurs or everyone in this ecosystem is working like that. So you don't have an excuse that maybe I did not meet the my customer physically, hence I lost it, or maybe I did not meet that investor physically, hence I lost them. You can't give that excuse to anyone because it's a leveler. Everyone is doing that. What you have to now do is that the underlying principle is only the best businesses would survive in COVID, right? Businesses which are focusing on a positive unit economics, which are generating sustainable and consistent cash flows, and which are actually creating value for the customers, they only would survive. Because businesses which relied heavily on physical events, which relied heavily on a lot of other jazz and show, they would not survive that. And that's the harsh part. But I guess that's a leveler. So we want good businesses to come not just in India but around the world to create a value proposition, and that's how I see um, we moving ahead in this environment.
Right. So, Aditya, like when it comes to, I have seen like a lot of people, uh, tell the founders and all that they can help them into growth hacking. Growth hacking is a kind of new designation people carry with them, right? Because a lot of people are listening us, and we are also live actually on YouTube. So I just wanted to know, like, what is your message in terms of growth hacking, how you explain growth hacking, and what are the factors are there which are important when it comes to growth hacking itself, for a founder itself?
Got it. Got it. So in fact, this is the very essence of the topic, and it's very pertinent in this current times, right? And Bishak, there are crazy enough propositions out there. So, in fact, I was talking about growth hacking to someone, and that person asked me that is growth hacking a software? Can I buy that from somewhere? Can I download
Yeah.
that? And can I fast track that my growth? Is that an ERP? And I said no,
Hmm.
it's not that. There is no software as such which can help you to growth hack, and there are no coders in the market who do growth hacking. It's not a
Right.
coding course that you can do growth hack and can put in some lines of code and you are there. Growth hack is anything and everything under the sun which is helping you to achieve that massive growth within very short amount of time. So startups are anyway the definition of that growth hack. The very essence of a difference between a startup and a business is that startups can achieve that growth within the next 2 or 3 years, which businesses take about 15 years to achieve. And that's why
Mhm.
crazy amounts of venture capital money is pushed in, crazy amounts of money spent on advertising, and we see startups literally edging out in a cutthroat competition, right? So growth hacking is that umbrella term for anything and everything that helps you to generate positive business within a limited span of time. Now, growth hacking, the assumption where people go wrong is that they have multitude of ideas around growth hack, right? Right from digital marketing, right from paid promotions, right from uh, getting influencers on board, whatever it is, right? Or right from getting the best technology person on the gig economy, which has now become a growth hack in itself.
Mhm.
But they realize that what is the essential fundamentals or the basics of their business, right? Sometimes people growth hack something which may not be beneficial for their business as well, right?
Okay.
Most of the times people spend money on advertising considering it as a growth hack rather than improving the quality of their own products, and that's where they grow wrong. That you can achieve, let's say you're achieving 1,000 people, you can achieve 10,000 people by the end of the year, but if your product is not well, then it's not getting rejected by 1,000 people. Now it's getting rejected by 10,000 people, and that's
Right.
where the brand image and the brand proposition goes for a toss. So one, A, you have to identify the brand proposition, the fundamentals of the business. B, you need to be very clear what is the element that you want to growth hack in your business. Is it sales? Is it your R&D? Is it your marketing? Is it your founder's knowledge? What is something that you want to growth hack? Third is that growth hacking just does not involve planning for future. It also involves looking back at what has worked out for you or what hasn't. And that's how you growth hack something, right? There's a very interesting quote by Edison which says that he had developed 10,000 ways of failure of not how of assessing that how can a light bulb be not be made, right? And that's how essentially he found 10,000 other ways which did not work. So growth hacking is very subjective business to business, but if you just are futuristic, you're not looking at the past, that's where you are doing one very very fundamental mistake. And the last part is that you have to have the knowledge of your business, right? If no one from outside can come you and just growth hack you and just take you from one step to right to the sky, right? They can't do that, right? You have to have that knowledge for yourself. You need to invest time in that knowledge, and you need to be very clear with what really lies at the end of this growth hack, right? If you growth hack and you're not planning beyond growth hack, then the very purpose of growth hack is being questioned here. So that is some of my key thoughts around what I see growth hacking happening in this current times.
Right. So the attendees and the audience, those who are listening. So the important point which I understood from Aditya is that growth hacking is important part of your planning, but you have to have a planning after growth hacking as well. After putting that element of growth hacking, you should also have a planning that what will be the next steps, right, for your business, which you need to include, for the continuation and the growth of your business itself. Thank you, Adit. I'll get back to you. Now I'll go to Hemi sir, and I would like to know from Hemi sir, like, sir, what are the important factors, like, did you see in the business, right, for the startup founders, right, when you think about growth hacking?
Okay, so I tell it a little bit differently, right? I say that in startup, right, when is one is before you start, One is you start and then after, right? There are three step, right? So even before you start, I think still there is a growth hacking thought process is there, right? So before you start, I always tell people, right, to become a startup, the first thing you need to consider, I say in my book, I put, it's called mindset. It's called Fast M, which is your mindset. I found so many startup in our country or everywhere in the world, when they're thinking about a product or a service, or like say whatever they are building, they're thinking in their perspective. They're thinking in their perspective. They think this is the best thing, this is gonna like amazing, but they're never thinking the customer perspective. They're never thinking about the investor perspective. They're never thinking about actually what problem they are resolving in the market right now, and is it the solution they're providing, is it scalable enough or not. So their mindset is still, I see that it's not ready to start that startup, but they still start. So in that perspective, their growth doesn't progress anyway, because their mindset is not ready to progress and growth. So that's first thing I always tell. Then when you actually start up, like you're thinking about that, we also miss few things. We want to resolve the problem for a country. We want to resolve the problem for for the world. We want to resolve everyone's problem. But as a startup, sometimes we miss the concept of money. That what is giving back to me. We are resolving others' problem, which is fantastic. I totally agree with that, right? But what I'm doing with me, in my team, in my company. So they actually forgot the money part. So that I say that is called monetization. Monetization. They even don't know who is their customer, which we say customer avatar. They also don't know what, like, why customer is gonna buy from me this particular product. Why they're gonna buy from me? Why they are not gonna buy from Aditya, or why they're not gonna buy from Abhishek? They really don't know about that. So they don't know about their unique USP, right? They don't know at all, right? Then the last thing, I found that many startup in the world, they don't have any idea about their marketing part, because at the end regardless, you need to do your marketing. Now, considering the current situation and the that when you're a startup, think about the marketing part, think about monetization part, think about mindset part. Everything now change in this after COVID came in. After COVID came in. Before the COVID, your mindset was different, because you were considering lots of time physical location, physical business, and all this. But now, if you are thinking that way, I think Aditya mentioned that we really don't know when this COVID is gonna go. We really don't know. No one knows. Trust me, no one. It can be another year, maybe 2 years, maybe 5 years. I don't know the answer. But the question is then, what, like if you're considering the business like previously you did, that's not going to sustain in this new world. So you need to consider that as part of the journey, like say, what sort of mindset do I need to adapt with this current situation? Then the monetization part had a massive impact, because your physical location, your physical product, the old way of doing business doesn't work anymore. That means you need to consider the digital as part of this whole monetization process. Then the marketing part, think about that. Before COVID, we said that 70% marketing is digital, 30% was is still offline marketing. Right now, I think it's 95 and 5. Even some countries is 100%. Like you cannot even go out, even like in Australia, in Melbourne, until like last week we couldn't even go outside, like pretty much 8 weeks to 12, 8 weeks to 10 weeks. That means the marketing part is now completely digital. Now the question is, how much you utilizing that, how much you are utilizing that in order to actually market your product. If you are not, then your growth hacking or whatever you are telling me, it's not going to work. It's not going to work
Right.
regardless what product, what service you are offering in the market. Many startup fail because of their marketing strategy. Many startup, because they think that this particular product is the best product in the world, which is I completely respectful with that. Maybe yes, it is. But how do customer know? How do customer know? It's your baby, right? And you totally are, like that you look after your baby too much. Sometimes we look after our baby too much. We are so protective with our baby. But on the other hand, I don't know your baby. So I need to know your baby a little bit, right? So in that perspective, you need to let me know. And now I think Abhishek is so easy to do the marketing because social media is the power. Social
Yes.
media is the power. You have got so many social media, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, everything, right? We can connect with each other. You can connect anyone in the world right now if you're really utilizing that power. So I think every startup at the moment, if you are thinking about the growth hacking, you must consider the power of social media as part of your business plan and strategy. If you don't do that, regardless what product you have got, what service you are offering, you cannot move and you cannot actually have that growth what you started to think about when you started before. So I think the
Right.
growth hacking is, again, I go back to that 3M: your mindset, your monetization, and your marketing. Every stage you need some changes, and you need to think differently in order to actually grow your business into the next level.
Right. That's great. I can understand the power of social media, and I have adopted the three M's you've spoken about. I have seen that you were, messaging something, and I believe we have a lot of attendees from Bangladesh itself attending out here. So this is the power of social media, and now I will get back to Aditya Arora, right? Aditya, like it has been a a terrific journey which you had as if now. Like I just wanted to like I want that the attendees out there should know more about you, right? Because you are from Delhi, I'm also from Delhi, uh, and you also help startups basically to in their fundraising part and all those kind of stuff. uh, a little bit about your journey and what are the things you adopted from others, like to grow your business.
Got it. Got it. So again, it's a short journey, as in just five spanning across 5 6 years. But to be very honest, every day has felt like there's so much happening, right? And that's what happens when you try to grow too fast, too quickly. So just another boy, as in try to make it very short. Although the this is another webinar topic altogether, which I do with
Right.
my attendees, but I make it very short, covering certain aspects of my journey, which can help the attendees. So, of course, it I was just another boy in school, right? Very focused on academics, but I had that love for numbers, and that love for numbers made me join a startup, which was helping YouTubers upload good quality content on YouTube. So we were not just helping them with content generation and content annotation, we were also helping them with the right kind of technical mix to upload a video on YouTube. What Since it's a community organization, YouTube, right? So what kind of things do you need to configure and integrate so that the video gets the best reach and gets the best view for a person who's viewing that? So we did that, and of course, I joined that company just to run numbers. And so it happened that when we were at a pitching event, both the co-founders, they were IIM IIT grads, which is of course a very big thing in India, right? It's a deadly combination. So they were pitching to investors, and they had questions on. So investors had questions on the finances, right? They had question like, how's the EBITDA margin so low, or how's the profit after tax so high? Like something like of that. They had questions, and my founders did not know the perfect answers to it. So I was being pushed on stage. I was literally pushed on stage to answer all the questions because I had done the run of numbers. So
Okay.
that session, I answered all the questions of investors. What basis did I take in preparing my financial sheet? What assumptions did I make? And we ended up selling that company. So we got acquired for about $500,000 that day. And that was my first stint as an entrepreneur, right? That of course I made numbers and I got some money out of it. Though I was not a shareholder, I did not have any ESOPs in that company, but still, out of, as you can say, a non-consultant consultant fee, I got some money out of it. And that's what motivated me to move ahead. But till that point of time, my parents did not know a lot about entrepreneurship, right? Because they both are from a very conservative service class background, and I'm the first entrepreneur from my family. So I went on. I did not disclose my money to anyone. I did not disclose the amount until just late, some time back. In fact, I used to say this line very often, that I feared my parents more than that I did income tax at that point of time.
Okay.
So of course, I went with that money, burned that money, and that's where FAD came in. I started with FAD, and my first stint with FAD was to just interview entrepreneurs and know about startup ecosystem, right? So I spoke to entrepreneurs. I spoke for hours without aimlessly, without even having a structured script or something. I just asked them questions as to, you had the best of the lives, you were like earning well, then why entrepreneurship? Why all of a sudden? And what is passion for you? So questions like these, which are not very business specific questions, but very human specific questions. Because I honestly believe that if you are backing any entrepreneur, you should first connect with the human in them rather than connecting with the entrepreneur in them. And that's where you understand the psyche of all these numbers and psyche of all what happens in their mind and what do they do. So 2 years I just did that, and I just started writing these stories on our portal for Times. The stories were picked up by the best of the agencies, eventually called Your Storying 42. These are very big names in India when we come to startup ecosystem. Yeah, so that happened, and the one turning point in my life came in. I was thinking how we can get the best co-founders for startup, right? How we can get the best partners in startup, right? Because team is the most important element for the success of any startup, I believe. So I did an event on Valentine's Day. Of course, I was single back then, so I had the authority to do that. So I'm still single now, although. So I did that event, and I invited 20 startups. I invited 20 co-founders to match make with each other on a speed dating platform. So in within 8 minutes, we were rotating across tables, and the co-founders got to interview startups, and startups got to interview co-founders. So it was done in Hoskas and Social Cafe, which is again a very sort of offbeat romantic place in itself. So that added to the mood and the vibe. And fortunately, 8 startups matched that day out of 20, which was a very very big number. And four of them are still working with their startups even till today. So that's a very good thing, and that's what gave the media attention, or the word out on the street was that there's this guy called Aditya Roda, who's very young. I was 19 back then, and who did this concept, who brought this speed dating concept to co-founder matchmaking. And since then, of course, been blew up. FAD also pivoted from acceleration to pure play investment. Until date, we've almost invested in about 20 enterprises. And now, of course, when I graduated from college, I had invested so much time in the company that, of course, I was made the CEO of the company from which I started as an intern. Yeah, that's been the journey till now. And now I execute investments. I invest in startups myself. And now one last thing is that now I don't fear my parents more than I do income tax, and I know how to spend money wisely now. So
Right.
That's a very
That's
interesting. That's a very interesting, Aditya. I'm just really enjoying that, right?
yeah.
I think one thing, right? When we said that, right? I know like lots of entrepreneur or startup, right? When we start, we always think about that money. We always think about that. I need to get the investment. I need to get the investment. I need to, and I totally agree with you. I don't think so. That's the best way to think. I think you need to connect with yourself. And I ask this question because I do coaching, right? I've got many startup and entrepreneur. Do the coaching with them. I always ask them question: why do you want to be an entrepreneur? And I found most of the time there are two answers, very common answer. One answer is, of course, we want money, right? That's the one answer. The second answer is, I want to change this world. I want to change this country, right? And I always ask this question that, okay, so why do you want to do that? And
Right.
that answer is most of the time is missing,
yes.
missing part. I always say, for me, entrepreneurship is all about freedom. Entrepreneurship is all about choice. So rather than money. And as an entrepreneur, I want to add value to other people's life. When I will add values to your life, I know you're gonna give me money anyway, regardless, right?
Right.
So I think that you need to connect with yourself. Your mindset is, that's what I always tell, the mindset is important, right? Mindset is not the money driven mindset, right? Money is something, I think that money management or thinking about money, the family I came from or you came from, we never learned anything about money. Because for us, we learn how to count maybe $10 or $20, right? We never learn how to think about 20 millions dollars, right? And our parents always said, don't even think. That's bad, 20 millions, right? But as an entrepreneur or as a startup, that might not anything, right? That's nothing actually, if you think about that way, right? So I think of course, you need to learn it, right? And you need to learn. For myself, right, when I started this journey, I was watching one of the video of Robert Kiyosaki, right? And he was talking about the money. And I said, who is this guy? What he's talking about? Why? I didn't learn. Because he said that we didn't learn anything in the school. And I was surprised. I said, what? I got this bachelor from, one of the university in Australia, and he's saying I didn't learn anything. But now I realize actually that was so true. That was so true. Because our traditional education, our family, our parents, they didn't actually teach us about the money part. They taught us, how to do maths, which is awesome. But on the other hand, they didn't teach us how to count money actually. So I think that, yep, of course, you want to get money. But on the other hand, you need to understand and ask this question to yourself. Why do you want to be an entrepreneur? Or why do you want to start a startup? It's not easy, to be honest. It's not easy. It's hard. But on the other hand, this is so amazing journey. Amazing journey. Question you ask yourself, do you want to enjoy this journey? If it is answer is yes, most welcome. Come and join in this journey. And I think this is amazing. Sorry, I just took it, but it's amazing.
No. Thank you so much, Emmy. And that is what is about as well. The 2 years that I did in FAD was the make or break moment. I did not earn a single dime out of it. To be very honest, I was not doing preparing Excel sheets, or I was not preparing something fancy, right? Which I
Yep.
was doing in school. And I went to the best of the colleges as well. I could have easily, I in fact had offers from multinational corporations. I could have easily gotten them, but I don't know, something did not sort of encourage me to do that. So I always say this in my session that every day I was finding reasons to quit entrepreneurship, and every day I was finding a new one to not. Right, and that's where I just kept pushing that block. That today is not the day. Maybe next day we'll think, and then it
Yep.
just kept pushing that block till an extent that I got married with this sector, with my with what I do as well. And that's where I guess marriage and your passion, there lies the intersection of perfection, right? Because you're
Yep.
bound to succeed in a journey, as you said, if you are enjoying it. If you're not enjoying your journey, trust me, every day would feel so stressful that you would burn out somewhere or the other, right? So yeah, you should always take passion for it. So one last thing, in fact, Hemi, since you said, I made a wager with my dad, and I said that if I become successful in it, will you take the credit for it? And he said yes. So I said, okay, my second question: if I don't become successful in it, will you take the blame for it? And he said no,
No,
because so you
of course not.
so you are the one taking success in my success, and you are the one not taking failure in my failure. So let me decide, right? What do I want to do? If I fail, the blame is always on me, right? So let me decide and let me be in the driving seat. And yeah, I enjoyed that journey throughout. That the question never came that whether you are successful or not. And that's where I think most of the young entrepreneurs and most of the entrepreneurs who face so many resistance from their families as well, or from their peers as well, should always
Absolutely.
go down, right? Should always go down. It's a
Absolutely.
long journey, as they
Absolutely.
say. It's a
Yeah.
lone journey, as they say. But if you make your passion, your confidence, and if you start loving yourself every day, it does not feel alone, to be very honest.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And to be honest, right, Aditya, you are very young. You are like younger than, but think about my perspective. Even when I quit my job, started my entrepreneurship journey. My dad came in Australia, and he went to my office and he asked me question, what do you exactly do? And I said, what do you mean? He said, tell me what do you exactly do? And I said, I speak, I talk. And he said, and people pay you money, right? And I said, yes. And he said, what are you doing? They shouldn't pay you money for this. And then he asked someone in my office, who pays you salary? And then he said, Hemi pays our salary. And he said, who pays him? How does he get money? So look at this. And then I asked this question to my dad as well. I said, do you feel proud that what I'm doing? And he said, no. And I said, why? And he said, because the job you used to do, I was so proud because I used to tell people that my son is run one of the largest telecom in Australia. Now I don't know what you do, and I cannot tell to others. But now, when because I think that I have done well. Now he is so proud, right? He tell everyone, look at my son. He's in everywhere, right? So I think, of
Absolutely.
course, this is your own journey, right? But on the other hand, totally respectful with our parents, totally respectful with our society. But I always tell entrepreneur and startup, this is your journey. This is your life. You gotta be happy. You gotta enjoy this life. Every minute of this journey. Again, this is hard. This is not easy. Every day there is a new challenge, but if you don't enjoy that challenge, you cannot be an entrepreneur or a startup. So let's enjoy the time, but before you enjoy that time, you need to be ready as well, right? You need to be make sure you are prepared enough to start this journey. Many a startup and many entrepreneur, I always tell them, get someone as your mentor or coach who has done it before, because you don't need to reinvent this wheel again and again and again. You already, there are someone else who knows. Say for example, money one, right? I didn't learn about the money management. My money management was so poor. Even when I used to work for Telstra or other company, I used to make really good money, but I never had money. I had always debt. I had always debt, right? Because, like say the debt mindset, right? Always debt mindset. But since I came into this journey, then I actually went to my coach and I told him very clearly, I said, hang on a sec, just letting you know, in terms of money wise, I'm like pretty minus, because I don't have any idea about money management. No idea. Yes, I know how to do the Excel sheet, but I don't know how to play with it. I don't know how to play with it. Teach me that. Teach me that. Then along the journey, I learned that how to do money management, how to do money, because it's one of the very good skill to have as an entrepreneur. Otherwise, you cannot grow your business. You cannot grow
Absolutely.
your business. So I always tell them, get someone as a coach or mentor, learn some skill, because this is a different skill than what you have got right now. What you have got right now. So if you don't have that skill, take your time. You don't need to be like another thing. I think in the country like Bangladesh or India, what I'm finding at the moment, the whole entrepreneurship and startup is a buzzword. It's a buzzword. Everyone is a startup, everyone is an entrepreneur. I asked the question, what do you do? Oh, I'm a social entrepreneur. I said, what does it mean? Oh, I love to help people. So what do you actually basically do? Nothing. Nothing. And then I said, who told you you are a social entrepreneur? It's in my Facebook, right? I put that. So again, right? I tell them, step back, right? Step back right now. Ask yourself, why do I want to be an entrepreneur? What that give it to me? And what are the skills do I need to have in order to start this journey? If not, it's okay too. It's okay, completely okay. Take a little bit of time, put some thought process, ask yourself deeper question. Because if you're not asking yourself deeper question and you are not connecting with yourself, you won't enjoy this journey. And every day you'll be stressed, you'll be frustrated. You will see your face on the mirror and you will see yourself. You'll say, who is this guy? I don't know him. And I don't want you to do that. I want you to every day wake up in the morning, your smiley face, go in front of the mirror and say, wow, beautiful, right? So I think that's the journey I want you, all of you have. And in order to do that, I would say step back and ask the deeper question, which I think Aditya mentioned. Connect with yourself. Connect with yourself. More about as a human rather than entrepreneur. That remaining will happen anyway, regardless.
Absolutely.
Right. So we have the first question from the audience. Like we have a question from Mrs. Vandana Negi. She is asking that from Himi sir, like you earlier mentioned that you were born again in February 2020. What's one growth framework you have used that has reformed you?
Oh
Yeah.
my God, that's an amazing question. Thanks, Anand. Okay, couple of things, right? My entrepreneurship journey is about 6 years, right? So 6 years, definitely I have achieved a lot. Uh, so I when I started, right, one of my coach told me that as an entrepreneur, you are a hustler. Told me that it's a 80-20 rules, right? He said the first 3 years, 80% you work, 20% you enjoy, your fun, right? Pleasure. And then I started the journey that. So that time I used to work every day 18 to 19 hours. 18 to 19 hours, right? However, after 3 years, when I started to get the, my success in as an entrepreneur, he said, now change other way around. He said, now 20/80 rules. And I said, what does it mean? He said, now you don't need to work that much. You need to be a little bit smart in terms of the money management, in terms of the investment, because I invest a lot. All the startups, entrepreneur, I invest so much, right, in different venture. He said, be a capital venturist, so start to invest money. So now you work 20%, the 80% is fun. 80% is fun. Even like you go for a speaking session, make money from there, but you're doing fun, right? And I said, wow, that's pretty cool. Let's do that, right? But in this, since COVID came in, I realized that suddenly someone came to my home and put the fire. Suddenly everything changed. Oh my God, everything has a drastic change. So what I have done since February, I went back to 80/20 rules again. I went back to 80/20 rules, but other way around now. 80% is I'm a hustler. 20% is my fun. Last 7 months. So what is happening since February to as of today? I work every day 18 to 19 hours. So I had to change my business, moved, even though I'm a digital entrepreneur, but some businesses was still in physical location or physical, that appearance. So I had to change everything into in digital world. So last 7 or 8 months, I have been working every day like 18 to 19 hours. Now everything is getting so good at the moment. Everything is under control. Now I'm thinking maybe 2021 in January, I'll be going back to 80/20 rules again. That 20% is the work, 80% is fun. So I think this answer is I had to change myself, my mindset that, oh my God, someone came and put fire in my house. Let's fix it. And I have fixed it. So what I mean by that everyone who wants to be an entrepreneur, who is going through the journey, you have got three options at the moment. Either you can change yourself right now and be part of this digital world. One option. Second option, you can be observer and say, oh, let see what's happening. I can guarantee you, after this 6 or 7 months later, you are out from this journey. You are out from this journey. Number three, you can wait that this corona will go, right? You can wait. But I don't know this answer, to be honest. And I don't believe that what is the new president name in US? I don't believe he knows even an answer. No one knows that. So you can be part of that as well. It's up to you. It's your journey. I'm not a teacher or an advisor to advise you, but you have got three options. Ask yourself which option you're gonna take. I took the first option. It's up to you. You can take any.
Right.
Good.
So, jokes apart, I can see from your smile and observe from your smile itself that everything is in control from your side. Yeah. So coming back to Aditya itself, right? As we got a chance today, to get $1 million advices from two of the angel investors, and I believe you people charge a lot of money to, for having a session like this. So I would say thanks to both of you. I'm really feeling excited, and I have, also writing down few things on my sticky notes, which you guys are talking about. So Aditya, I just want to know from you, as you said that, like again, $1 million advice for the startup founders. Uh, you just mentioned that you did a event in Hodgecast, which was a roundtable session for the co-founders and startups, right? When it comes to growth, right? How an investor, like as you are an angel investor, how you measure the growth factors of a startup? What are the measures, or what are the ingredients which you see in a startup, and then you can say that okay, the growth factor is there. Yeah.
Got it. Very interesting question. And in fact, as investors, all we are looking for is growth, right? If the growth is not there, the profits aren't there, and we can't make money out of it and exit the company, right? So growth is, of course, what we look at is but bundled into two things, right? One, of course, is the financial growth that we see. That's what's your month-on-month growth, or what's your revenue multiple, with which you are increasing over the years, right? So that of course, the financial metrics, how much your margins are increasing, your gross profit is increasing. That of course is there once we look at the growth of a company from a financial standpoint. But more than that, the perspective that I like you to focus upon is that as investors, we're also looking at founders' growth, right? We are looking at the growth in the human being, wherein we are seeing that are they seeing the big picture, right? Do they have any idea to execute that big picture? Because startups growth, which is right now, would not be the same with which it is 3 years later, right? So company would grow, would have a different management, would have a different set of broad customers, would have different set of investors as well, right? So the whole ball game changes when the company grows. What we have to see is, are the founders ready for growth, right? Are they in the right market? So what, before a product market fit, we look at a founders market fit, wherein if are the founders ready to execute that thing in the right market, where they are seeing the growth for themselves. Let's say they can serve 1,000 customers right now, but if they serve 10,000 customers, let's say 3 years down the line, are the founders ready to manage that growth in their head, right? Will they be able to live with that growth, sustain that growth, and take that growth to the next level? So startup is a very intensive journey, right? And as you grow, it's a direct relationship, right? The journey becomes even more intensive. So what we have to look at is, can the founders be able to manage that big picture? Some founders we evaluate, they just don't have that vision. They don't have that big picture in their mind, that this is how we're going to scale that company, or this is how we are going to make returns for our investor. They just look at the smaller picture, and that smaller picture helps them to retain, let's say, some level of customers. But if you have to grow, you have to have more number of customers, right? And there would be dropouts as well. So are you able to be in the right kind of mindset? As Hemi said, that the mindset, is it a growth mindset, or is it just a very point mindset, right? It's just at a point of time. If it's a growth mindset, then that growth happens every day, right? And this is what we are investing in. We are investing in founders. We are investing in that growth mindset, that are they willing to look beyond small numbers and small pictures? Are they willing to see the big picture, that this is the vision? If a medical company, a pharma company comes to me and say that we want to be the number one procurement partner, let's say in the whole of India or in the whole of world, that brings me confidence. Yes, it does a world of good. But if they actually tell that this is how we're going to do that, or this is what our path to mission is, this is what our path to growth is, if they're able to explain me that, then of course that's what the selling point is. Because everyone, as Hemi said, no one does an advertising saying that we are not the best, we are second, right? Everyone
Right.
claims that they are the first, they are the best. No one settles for a second, right? So what you have to do is, your mindset should always not be second as well. The mindset should always be first at every point of time in your whole journey, and that is what we are backing, right?
Certainly.
Right. That's great. So we are actually, having the last 15 minutes of the session. So I would request from the attendees, if they want to ask, some particular question, if you are having in your mind, or something you want to ask to our experts out here, so you can put it there in the chat box. So that will be really helpful. So I will come back to Hemi sir, right? And again, a very interesting topic, fire your boss. So this question is from my side. I would like to ask you, sir, like, what was your mindset like after writing that book? Because uh, obviously, as you made me understood that as an entrepreneur, a lot of entrepreneurs say, I want to help people, I want to, I want to do something socially. But when I gone through your book, obviously I have not completed it yet, but whatever I have understood, like, there is lot in there for the founders, for the
Yep.
people with entrepreneurship mentality or something like it. So what was your mindset when you thought of writing that book?
Very interesting question, right? But
Yeah.
before I go back, right, I'm going back to Aditya's one of the reference, right?
Mhm.
Um, as a startup or entrepreneur, right, there is a three questions we always ask ourselves. It's called chunk up, chunk sideways, and chunk down. So chunk up question is, you ask always what question, what I'm trying to achieve, what is my objective, what is my goal. That's the first question you ask. The second question you ask why. It's called chunk sideways, like why 5 times. Ask yourself why I'm doing it, why why. Then the last question, how I'm going to do it, right? I found many startup and many entrepreneurs, they come to present me something, they're seeking money, right? They need funding, but they're telling me how to do that. and they're telling me how they're gonna do it. I don't need to know. Trust me, I don't need to know. I want to know what you want to achieve. And I think Aditya said that I'm the number one. And what I really want to achieve, I want to be number one, right? That's number one. And then I ask the question, why do you want to do that? And then they don't know the answer. And then they're talking about all about how. I would say maybe before you go for any presentation, ask yourself this what, why, and how, right? How, as an investor, I really don't want to know. I want to know the what, and I want to know your why, right? So that's just a now fire your boss, right? Very interesting question. So I think Abhishek, I'll take a little bit of time in here. Um, I think if you read the book in 2007, I was massively unwell. I was in the hospital about 4 weeks. I had pancreatitis twice in 4 weeks. So there was a time when my doctor came to me and said, "Hey, you have got two options, right? The option one is um, you can go for a surgery and you can live maybe another year because the pancreatitis surgery is one of the really worst surgery you can ever have in your life. That's one. The second thing he said that, or or you can continue like this. You may survive another week. You may survive another week. It's up to you which one you want to take. Of course, I want to take number one. I want to survive another year, right? And I said, of course, I want to survive another year. Now I am laughing, I'm smiling, but that time not. Of course not. And I said, I want to take number one. I went to my surgeon next day, and I don't know, something, sometimes, the 5 minutes conversation can change someone's life. So he had just told me, said, Hemi, you're so young. Do you really want to go for these operations? And I said, but how I'm gonna survive? And he said, if I would you, I would stay one more week in this world. And then I'll say thank you. Then I'm happy to go. I don't know what happened to me. And I said, that's fine. I'm happy to stay one more week and happy to live in this world. I came home, and trust me, many people from the community in Melbourne, they came to see me with flower and all this because they thought that I'm good. I'm getting better, right? Because I'm at home after 4 weeks in the hospital. But I knew, and I didn't tell anyone, I knew that I have got one more week to go. I knew. But that time I was asking myself so many questions, and which I mentioned before. I was trying to connect with myself. One question I had, like, why did I born actually? Why did I really born? And what is the difference between me and someone like a rickshaw puller in Bangladesh? Even if I die today, who is gonna remember me? No one. My mom and dad will cry couple of days. That's it. And after that, no one. I don't know. I asked maybe the God. I said, if I ever come back, I want to do something, right? I want to make sure that everything happened and I leave the legacy in this world. One more thing, I was thinking, even if I do the operations, doctor told me I'll survive 1 year, but how? Because I had no money in my account. So I was thinking, how I'm gonna survive this? That time I realized how important is money, the financial freedom. So I thought that, of course, if I ever come back in this world, I'm not gonna work for anyone. I'll be an entrepreneur, I'll do business, I'll be financially free. But to be honest, right? You know that when I survived somehow, I don't know, maybe, God listened to me. I survived. I'm still surviving. I'm still alive. But when I came back, right? Job is something we never quit because it's a comfort zone, right? Every month, every fortnight, you get salary in your account, right? I started to change the job in the corporate ladder, progressing, progressing, progressing. Then one day in, I don't know, 2012, 2013, I realized that I do everything for money, but I don't have any time for myself. I don't, because I work for someone else and they bought me because they give me salary and I do everything for them every day, 11, 12 hours. Next morning, I went to my boss and I said, I don't want to continue this job. And she said, what are you going to do? I said, I don't know, but I don't want to continue this job anymore because I don't like this life anymore. I don't want to continue my life like this. And then she somehow convinced me. She said, no, 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 Hemi, don't. You are so good. Yeah, and then again, I continued. But in 2015, and I decided that, nah, this life is not giving me anything. And I quit. I went there. I resigned without any thinking, without any thinking. And I tell you, in the book, I said that. And I came home and I said, I fired my boss, right? I fired my boss. But that was the worst decision I have ever taken in my life. Worst decision. As I said, entrepreneur, right? Or startup. We never sometimes think. I didn't. Within 1 year, I pretty much lost my everything. I had like few investment properties in Melbourne. I sold it. My car, I sold it. Everything. Everything because I started to lose money. Then then I actually went to a coach or a mentor. I got someone and he taught me about the business, how to be an entrepreneur and mindset and all this. I learned. And then 2017 I decided that whatever I learned, I need to give back my legacy. And that time I decided I'm going to write a book and I'm going to give everything in this book, all my learning, all my philosophy, all my success. And in this book, I have written my journey, my philosophy, and my success. So everything, if someone read this book properly, there is a the part of this book. I can guarantee, it's my guarantee for you, you're going to be an entrepreneur. It's my guarantee. So that's how this book has been written. And when the book came in, and that Amazon bestseller and international number one bestseller, it's not international bestseller. It doesn't give me anything. It gives me pleasure and happiness when someone come to me and say, "Hey, me, I read this book and I learned something from this book." That's actually helped me. That's actually give me so much pleasure and happiness I cannot even express. So this fire your boss, it means it's not like you're firing your boss. It means it's like you have got the ability to get the freedom in your life. As an entrepreneur, I said before, it's a freedom. It's your choice. And I want to show you one thing. Sorry, Abhishek, if you allow me. I always say, I'm not sure if your destiny by design, not default. Your
Right.
destiny by design. You can design your destiny. You don't follow the default life. And everyone, we follow the default life, the way our parents done, the way the society asking us to do. I'm telling you, this is your time to rethink. You can design your destiny. You have got a choice. Up to you. Again, you're gonna take it or not. I'm not the teacher or advisor, right? But I think you have got the ability to design your destiny. Okay,
Right.
cool. Thanks, Abhishek.
Yeah, very true. I have seen, like as you said, like a lot of people are not happy with their job, but they don't want to come out from their comfort zone.
Yep,
They just wait for the your account has been credited with this much amount, right, on the 6th or 7th. So they are happy with their lives, but out there, whenever they think about themselves, about their vision or something, so
yep,
people are not happy actually, and that is that is where getting along with right people is very important. Like for me,
yep,
I have a simple funda. I always get along with the right people, maybe it Facebook, LinkedIn, or somewhere, and I keep myself away from the people those who have a negative thinking. Because if you want there are if you want to figure out negative thinkers, you will find 100. But if you will try to figure out a positive thinker and a person who can take you somewhere, you will find one or two out of those 500 people. So that is the biggest fact actually, and that is why uh, I want basically and I run a lot of events of these kind of uh, for the entrepreneurs, for the founders, so that people should get help, like and those who are there, those who are still thinking something, somebody might be in the attendees, or people might be who will watch us, they will be thinking that how to start, when to start, from where to start. So all those kind of questions, like I try to figure out and give answer to them. But obviously I'm not the expert all the time, so I keep connecting with experts, those who have done it actually. So that is the whole idea.
absolutely,
So it's really,
absolutely.
yeah, it's really true. Like whatever you said out here, I will come back to you, sir. I will go back to Aditya now, and from Aditya, I would like to ask, like, if he wants to add anything in terms of growth hack, right? In Because we are going to end the webinar itself in next 10 minutes. So Aditya, if you would like to, give some really helpful advice in a nutshell, like for our audience out here.
Sure, sure. No, great to sort of hear Himi's journey as well. And in fact, I believe it's our fortune that you are alive, and of course, we are getting the chance to speak to you, and of course, participate in this session with you and get to hear your thoughts. So, of course, I guess destiny, as you said, I'm a firm believer in destiny. So maybe it was destined that, of course, you would be here with me and Abhishek and all of us for a session. So, moving forward, nothing more words of wisdom have been laid out very perfectly, I guess, by Hemi himself, and some of the thoughts I've also shared around growth hacking. But yeah, mindset as I rightly believe is one of the key aspects for growth hacking. But beyond that, a general message for, see, growth hacking again is not like funding. It's not a process, right? It's an outcome of doing the things right. So if you're doing all the things right, then you are growth hacking. And if you're growth hacking, of course, you are getting funding as well. So it's not like you start with the process first. So you say that I want funding, then I will list down these two, three things, or I want growth hacking, then I'll just do down these two, three things. The processes have to be maintained so that the outcome comes as growth hacking or funding. Right. So that is, of course, one common misconception that I see, particularly among Indian entrepreneurs that I regularly interact with. Okay. Most of the people need money for growth hacking, of course, to in order to seize that growth. But the fundamentals, as I said, is something that is very sort of disturbed, and that's why we see the so many startups failing even at the massive level. In fact, one if you've been following the news, there was this unicorn startup called QB, based in China, right? And QB, after raising about one and a half million billion dollars, they eventually shut down shop within the next 6 or 8 months. Read some of these
Yeah.
stories as to why the businesses are not working well. So it's not just always about cash flow that helps to generate more money. It's also about how is your system is. Can it
Right.
does it have holes in it? Can it the cash that I'm injecting, is it leaking out as well? Right. So that is something that you need to process with, because if you're not able to strengthen your system from your economics from inside, no amount of money, no amount in growth hack can help you take your business in the longer run. Right.
Right.
And you have to do the basics right. So that is of course the second thing. And the third thing is, there are a lot of people, as you said, there are a lot of mentors out there, to be very honest with you. Right? A lot of people who can promise or guarantee you that I will growth hack this business for you, or I will make your business into a unicorn, or I will not sleep till I made your business a unicorn, right? So a lot of people are there out there, and most of the entrepreneurs, they just go for buzzwords, as Hemi was also talking about, that unicorn, okay, is a bird buzzword, decacorn, okay, it's a buzzword. But they just blindly follow some piece of advice, or they just blindly take offerings from people, which may not be sometimes suitable for the business as well. As I said, no amount of external help can sort of tell you that this is how things would work. Similarly, a doctor can't force you to get well, right?
Right.
Only give medicines to the business, to you. It's your body which has to react to those medicines. Doctor can't be the heart for you. Doctor can't be the intestine for you, right? So that is your internal process. How do you process all of that and make that into a sound business advice? So make your system strong. Focus on your fundamentals, focus on your business. Third is, of course, know your business inside out, not just your financial model, but who are the people, who are the stakeholders who are associated with their business. The best growth hack technique is to serve something valuable to customers. There's no something there is nothing above that. If you know your customers well, there is no better growth hack than this. And right, so serve something valuable to customers, serve it at the right price, serve it, know your customers well. Okay. And that's how you grow your business. Revenue is the best kind of growth hack, to be very honest. And when
Right.
that we of course get a credit message, and that's when we feel happy. But if you get a credit message into not our savings account, but our current account, trust me, it even feels more happy, because there are more zeros in that, right?
Right. Right. Very true. Very
True,
true.
true.
Yeah. So
So
that's
yeah,
great.
that's how you grow that. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's great, and so nice of you, Aditya, to be you to be here. Actually, I believe that most of the attendees got, an immense and a very deep fraction of the growth hacks, the life, and the entrepreneurship. So, though the topic was growth hack, but we have discussed. I believe each and every aspect we have touched of the startup ecosystem, which is the beauty of these kind of webinars and having the experts like you. So I would like to come back to Hemi sir. Anything would like to conclude, sir, in the end itself?
Okay, a couple of things I want to really pass this message to everyone, right? The first thing is what I found many entrepreneurs has got a disease. It's called Douglas syndrome,
Okay.
shiny object. We see everything is shiny object. We see everything is an opportunity, right? So what do we do normally? We start with something, and then by this time, say I give an example, right? I'm doing something, and then by this time Aditya came to me and say, Hemi, you are so good at this. Why don't you do this as well? And I said, wow, that's amazing. I can make some extra money. Then I start that one as well, right? Then by this time, Abhishek come to me and say, wow, you're doing two this thing. Why don't you start this? Then I focus on that. Then what is your focus actually? Is it this two or the thing you started, which was actually your dream? And then by this time, I can guarantee you're gonna fail, right? So I tell you something, right? Make sure that you don't have that disease as a startup or entrepreneur. Focus what are you doing. Yes, sometimes it takes time. It takes time, which is absolutely okay. Which is absolutely okay. Another thing, before you come to this journey, remember any journey you start, I always tell people, give yourself permission. Give yourself permission to fail. Give yourself permission that I'm okay if I fail. Otherwise, you'll be stressed. You'll be stressed because you didn't give permission to yourself fail. You came in here to win. So I always, before I do anything, I always give permission to myself. I said I can be fail, but it's completely okay because I can learn something from there. Then I can move on. If you fail, if you already failed, it's completely okay. I think if you fail means you actually won. You won because you learned something which I didn't, which I didn't. So you are much better than me. You are much better than me. Let's start again. Now, don't do that again because you done it, right? Let's start new. Let's start fresh with that mistake, what you learned. Okay. So if you can do that, this journey is an amazing journey. One more thing, the last thing. Again, I'll say enjoy this journey every second. You are such an amazing, trust me. You are bringing opportunity for others. You are bringing opportunity for you. You are bringing opportunity for your family because you have got freedom. When you have got freedom, you have got, and I think Aditya mentioned that when you have got money in your account, you can change your country, you can impact people. When you don't have that, doesn't matter what you are saying. I don't believe that. So I think this is such a great opportunity, great journey, and you can do that. You just need to start somewhere and you just need to think, do I have the enough skill? If not, get some skill, get someone as your mentor, coach, have a chat, or someone like Aditya who was, who is already an entrepreneur. Talk to him what he has done before, and you can follow that path, and I'm sure that you'll get success as an entrepreneur or as a startup.
Right.
Thank
So in the end, sir, I will just take 2 minutes of yours more. We have a very good question, and I think he should get his answer. Hasib is asking that from Hemi sir, how to develop a growth mindset? What is the growth mindset exercises? So
Okay.
maybe he might have joined a little late. So just in just 2 minutes, if you can, give him some insight to him.
Okay. One is you need to work on you. Another thing I can guarantee you, like when you have got this set of session, right? This set of session, this is actually people who they have got, they are hungry. They are hungry. They're looking something. That's why you came in here because your time is so precious, right? Either you could have given this time to your family or your work, but you didn't. You came in here. That means you are hungry. That means you have got already thought process of growth mindset. And in my book, chapter 7, I said proximity principle. Proximity principle is the people you meet with, the people you mix with, your behavior, your characteristics, will be exactly like them. So that my first suggestion is mix with the people who you really want to be, right? You want to be an entrepreneur, don't mix with someone who is already working for someone else. Mix with the entrepreneur, learn from them, because they are talking about accounting, they are talking about product, they are talking about startup, they are talking about funding. So you can learn from them, and you have got that thought process, it will develop. And you need to work on you. What I mean by that, you need to look after yourself really well, your habits, your discipline in life. I know that this is not easy journey, right? But on the other hand, if you are not disciplined enough, if you are not developing some habits, and you are wasting so much time on your social media, like comments, and then you are wasting your time, right? So I would say just develop some habits and discipline, your morning habits, your gratitude habits, your daily habits, your food habits, even. All these things will start a small portion. Then eventually you will see yourself, oh my God, is this me actually really? How much change I have done in last 6 months or 9 months? And that is actually take you to your growth mindset. One last thing, visualization. Just think who you want to be. Just think, if you want to drive a Porsche, I would say always, think about a Porsche, right? Don't think about the Toyota, right? Then you will drive Porsche one day. But if you are thinking about a Porsche, but you are always in your dream, you're driving a Toyota, then you'll be driving Toyota in your whole life, right? So visualize, close your eyes, visualize what you want to be.
Right. So that's
Awesome.
great.
Thank you.
So I want all the listeners to think about Porsche today, right? When you are going to sleep, close your eyes and think about the Porsche. So we had a great session. I would like to thank both of you, Hemi sir and Adit itself. And I believe that we will be having more webinars in the near future. We'll be having our mission to help more people, right? And I would like to tell all the attendees out here, if you want more knowledge about the startup ecosystem, you want to know more about things which is there for the startup founders, and with want to network with investors, incubators and accelerators, you can join DueDash, which is a platform to help you make you help investable. And myself, Abhishek, I am the DueDash city leader. So anytime you can reach me, and you can reach to the speakers as well. They're all there on the LinkedIn and other social media platforms. So you are open to reach us, and we will try to figure out whatever solution we can give to your problem. So thanks for listening us, and thanks for giving your time out here on this webinar. Thanks once again, Aditya, and thanks once again, Hemi sir also. So see you guys next time. Thank you.
Thank you.